learn how to tack up and untack a horse. The things that you will need for this is a saddle pad, like this. You're going to need a girth, and you will need a saddle. The other thing that you will need is a bridle, and you will need a clean horse. All of the material here needs to be good and fitted for the horse and be in good condition. That way it works properly. So the first thing you will need is your saddle pad. This is the first thing we're going to put on the horse. And what you're going to look for is the big end. So you're going to see that this end is longer and it's a little bit bigger, and you want this end pointed toward the horse's head when you put it on them. So you'll put it on, and you'll see the big end is pointing towards his head, up towards his ears, and that's where you're wanting to look for. And you want to make sure it's up on his withers so there's a little bit of space here, but that it's down on his back. So the next thing we're going to put on is the saddle. You'll notice that this also has a bigger, longer end. We want this longer end to match up with the long end that we put on the saddle pad when we put it on the horse. So we're going to take it and make sure the long end is matching with that, and we'll swing it up and onto the horse's back, being gentle so we don't slam down on their back. And we'll pull the saddle pad up a little bit so there's even more space there. It gives it some air room for him so he doesn't get pinched on the saddle. And to keep the saddle on, we're going to use our girth. So when you use your girth, you want to start with just tightening it a couple holes. That way the horse doesn't get pinched, and that way he can, because he sucks out, he can kind of suck in a little bit as you tighten it up. So I'm even going to make this a little bit looser, just in case. And when you're going around the horse, you can either go behind the horse, making sure that they know you're there, talking to them, touching them, and going close behind them. Or you can go in front of them, so you'll go under the cross tie, around in front of them, making sure you don't surprise them or anything, and then under the other cross tie. You never want to go under a horse's neck or directly under the horse. You don't want to do that either. And when you're grabbing underneath the horse, make sure that your feet are pointed in the same direction as his feet, and that you watch him and his legs so that you don't get kicked. You'll grab underneath and pull up like that. You'll just tighten it enough so that it's snug on him. You don't want to pull really hard. Like I said, we don't want to pinch him or anything, make him unhappy. Just like that. Good boy. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is our bridle. So when we're bridling a horse in cross ties, the first thing we want to do is unattach the cross tie that's on the same side as us. We're going to always bridle on the left side, so we'll undo the left cross tie. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take the reins and put them over the horse's head onto his neck. This way, if something happens, if he gets unattached from when we unattach this cross tie, or if he gets spooked, I have something that's holding on to him besides just this one cross tie. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to unclip his bridle and slide that off of him. Okay, so when you're putting the bridle on the horse, you want to make sure to have your right hand holding onto the top of the bridle, coming over their head, and then your left hand holding onto the bit that you're going to put in their mouth. And as soon as it goes in their mouth, you want to pull up on the bridle, not hard, but just enough so that it goes all the way into the corners of their mouth. And then you want to put the top over their ears. There you go. Pull the forelock out. And you'll just adjust it, move your straps around so that they're all placed correctly. Like, make sure that the throat latch is on the outside of the bridle, and make sure that your nose band is straight. And then you'll start doing up the straps. The first strap that we'll do up is the throat latch. It's very long. You can see it's on this side. And you'll pull it down and around underneath their throat to this short strap here, and you'll attach it. And you want to make this loose. The good way that I like to check is if I can fit a fist in between his face and that strap. And I'm continuing to hold on to him even though I'm doing up straps, because he's not attached to anything else and he could just decide to walk away. And then you'll slide it into the keepers, like so. Knock it off. Now for this chin strap, it's a little weird. The way we're going to do it is it's really long, and you see it comes all the way around to this side. And we're going to put it through this little keeper. And then you'll pull it through here, and through this keeper. And there you go. Ta-da. Yay. Oh good, you just came back from a ride and now you get to untack your horse. Yay, good job, Puccini. So we're basically going to do everything backwards. So we're going to start with undoing the chin strap under the bridle here. We'll take it out of the keeper and we'll undo the buckle, and there's the chin strap undone. And then we'll undo the throat latch. There we go. And now, before I take the bridle off, I'm going to grab the halter. So now I'm going to take it off from the ears first. I'm going to just slide it over the ears and let him drop the bit out. Good boy. Up. And now I'm going to put his halter back on his head. His strap here. And before I take the reins off his head, I'm going to grab the, help me, I'm going to grab the cross tie and put the cross tie back on him. Can you come this way a little bit, sir? Good boy. There we go. And now that he's completely attached to the cross ties, back tied up, I can take the reins off of his head. Good job. So now I'm going to undo the girth, and I'm going to start on the other side, personal preference. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before and go under the cross ties instead of under my horse's neck. And then I'll just undo the girth. Good job. On both sides. And when I undo girths, I'll show you how I like to undo the buckle. So if you have a buckle like this, you can just do that. That's what I like to do. I think it's easier than trying to pull it forward or anything. I just push the buckle up and it comes right undone. Quite easy. Now I'm going to put the girth on top of the saddle to keep it safe. And I'm going to pull the saddle off nice and easy, but trying to lift up at the same time so I make sure I don't pull my horse's back at all. Now that the saddle's off, we will take the saddle pad off. Making sure to put it back on its spot. And there you go. That's how you tack up and untack a horse. Now once you're done untacking your horse, kind of like a cool down exercise you can do as a rider is you can groom your horse again. Make sure he's well taken care of. Brush him, pick out his feet. Everything needs to be good before you put him away so that way he's well cleaned.